The Winnipeg Jets are making multiple moves ahead of tomorrow night's big game against the Vancouver Canucks. We're going to break down those moves as well as discuss some major injury updates as some returns are imminent. We also had Scott Arniel. He came out and spoke out on the Jets. Stay tuned for all that in this episode, folks. But before we get into it, quick reminder, if you're a part of the 90% who aren't subscribed to the channel over here, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so make sure to hit the subscribe button. Over on Hattrick HQ, we're getting very close and less than 1,000 subscribers away from 10,000. So if you're enjoying the daily content over there, make sure to smash that subscribe button as well. And thank you guys for your continued support as the Jets continue to roll. Darius, there's a lot to go over today. Moves are happening. The Jets obviously are getting closer to a return on some of their defensemen, Hayden Fleury specifically, and there's a lot of things to go over today. So let's dive right into it. Let's start with the line rushes here, and there's a few things to go over with this, and it's interesting. Obviously, Nemestikov has been a big point of conversation for Jets fans. He's been struggling as of late. People are saying to take him off the second line, to let him go down. So the line rushes, we'll start with the forwards, then we'll get to the blue line. So the forwards is Connors, Scheifele, Velarde, Ehlers, Larry Iafallo, Niederreiter, Kapari, Perfetti, Morgan Barron, Gustafsson, and Toninato. So a bunch of different pieces coming in here. We're seeing Toninato in, we're seeing Gustafsson, Kapari is up on the third line, and Nemestikov, Appleton, and Miller are not skating. And you do see, we'll get into the blue line in a minute here because it's actually a pretty important update there. But there is some interesting moves and changes for Scott Arniel.
Yeah, some weird moves, honestly, because after last game, a great bounce back, and I've been saying it all season, the ability to bounce back is the Winnipeg Jets' best strength so far this season. So after a big bounce back win, you're changing up the lines. Like, I thought like they had something going with a couple of these lines, but it makes sense with a couple guys out due to injury. So obviously he's going to do some weird stuff. He's going to experiment a little bit. Obviously they found some chemistry there with Lowry and Ehlers. So I wonder if they continue to experiment with that. That is a thing that they probably won't break up anytime soon right now unless they start to falter a little bit, because it has been great. Obviously I made a video the other day about him, kind of slowly moving up the lineup, and he moves up again. He's on the second line, so good for him. I wouldn't touch that first line. They've been rolling, but as for the rest of the lineup, trying a few new things. Perfetti has kind of had a hot and cold season at times, so he moves down. And again, Iafallo, I think that he's earned a bit of a promotion, if you want to call it that, and just the dynamic of that line. You can't break up Lowry and Ehlers right now. They played fantastic on Saturday in the last little while. So clearly they found something there. They're playing with some other things in terms of the rest of the lineup, but it's a big game against the Vancouver Canucks, who are coming off a big win against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, you can see here, Scott Arniel, like you mentioned, talked about the some things here. Clearly liked what he saw from Nikolai Ehlers on Adam Lowry's wing tonight. A couple nights ago, whenever the game was. Praised Ehlers' two-way play, said he embraced the challenge of matching up against Nathan MacKinnon. It's intriguing now, Arniel said, of the fresh line combination. It's got me thinking, which I see a lot of Jets fans online saying, wow, Arniel finally realized that he can change up the lines. Doesn't have to be the same lines every night. We are seeing Iafallo come up, and Iafallo has been a very solid fourth liner since coming over in the Pierre-Luc Dubois trade. Now he's starting to move up, especially with some, the way that Nemestikov has been struggling, some injuries. Obviously, Mason Appleton is out. So things are looking very interesting. Now, when it comes to Nemestikov, you can see this here. He tried to skate this AM, won't play tomorrow. At this point, he's day-to-day. Now, obviously, we know he's injured. I think you never want anybody to get injured, but him getting some rest, getting to regroup a little bit, I think will be good for him. I don't think they're going to, healthy scratch him once he's healthy or anything like that. He has been struggling a little bit, and now that they see, the Ehlers, Lowry, Iafallo, we'll see how Iafallo does in that second line tonight. There's a lot of things going on with this. I'm talking about moves. You look at the blue line now, and you see Morrissey, DeMello, Sandberg, Pionk, Stanley, Hanola. Sandberg really helps hold down this Winnipeg Jets blue line. We saw it in the last game. We've been seeing it going forward. Hayden Fleury, according to Scott Arniel, could be cleared to play later in the week, and Colin Miller is close to joining the group in non-contact. That is two blue liners. It looks like their blue line that we saw help propel them to a 15-0 start is nearing a return with primarily Hayden Fleury, but also Colin Miller as well. And Hayden Fleury, 29 years old, is having a bit of a breakout in the sense of helping a lot more than Jets fans would have thought prior to the year. And it begs the question of that Stanley Hanola line. Are they just going to be replaced with Fleury and Miller very shortly? There's a good possibility.
I think they are. I think they are going to be. Colin Miller, when he's healthy, he's got to come back into the lineup. He's been a great option for the Jets as a right-handed shot there on the final pairing, the third pairing. And Hayden Fleury, I think he's been great as well. And, when he has played, is he an option for them in the playoffs? I'm not sure. I think that they're going to go out and make another move. Is it a right-handed defenseman, left-handed defenseman? Yet to be seen. We don't know exactly what their need is yet, because I want to see what the lineup looks like when a couple of these guys come back from injury as well. So I think it's going to be very interesting. But as we were looking at the lines, going into the game tomorrow, because some of these guys are not quite ready yet, it's Stanley Hanola. They're going to try that again and see what's going on with that. Obviously, Scott Arniel's had a bit of a field day switching up the line combinations. We saw Coughlin in the lineup the other night. He comes out now, it looks like, against the Vancouver Canucks. So pretty interesting there. And again, I think Hayden Fleury has looked good at times this season. Colin Miller's been great, right? So when he's healthy, he should be back in the lineup. So it's interesting. It looks like they're nearing a return. Not quite there yet, but I think the Jets are about to get some much needed help on the back end. And even though they don't have them in the lineup, they've still been playing well.
Yeah, playing very, very well, and maybe they'll be able to give, you know, Eric Comrie as well whenever he gets back into the
Some
game
help.
some support, because he gets no support in front of him, and obviously he's not going to play tomorrow. You see this here, NHL Jets. The Jets are trickling on the ice here. They have 3 games this week to wrap up an 8-game homestand, 2-1-2 so far. Vancouver, Seattle, Calgary, Thursday, Saturday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So Vancouver, an okay team. They're coming off a dominant win against the Leafs. And then, of course, they play the Kraken and the Flames, 2 mediocre teams there. So they should be able to take care of business, hopefully win all 3. And regarding Hayden Fleury, again, he shed his non-contact jersey. He's in a regular sweater for the first time since his injury. Once he returns, Winnipeg will have 8 healthy defensemen, with only Colin Miller still sidelines, crowded blue line. And it's interesting. We also see Ville Heinola taking power play 2 duties and taking 5v5 drills with Logan Stanley. Seems like the 14-64 pairing is in the days ahead. And as you start to look at the lines in general, and you can obviously see all the, the roster here, things now become very interesting on specifically the blue line, because like I think it was McIntyre, yeah, like the blue line is looking extremely crowded right now, and they're going to have some big decisions to make. Of course, we'll have a video on that probably in the future, because it is very crowded, and the trade deadline is approaching as well. Still a couple months away, but as they start to pursue other options, I mean, Scott Arniel is putting this lineup in a blender so much that it almost makes the targets a bit less obvious. The blue line is going to be crowded here, Darius, and they're going to have some big decisions to make surrounding specifically Ville Heinola and Logan Stanley, because some fans are saying, it might be time to move on from Ville Heinola, give him a chance on another team to help kind of resurgence his career. That's not a word, resurgence, but to kind of make his career better, because at this point with the Jets, it seems like it's on a downward trajectory and has been for a while. Whether that's lack of playing time over the past few years, it's not an excuse anymore. He hasn't been good enough.
Unfortunately, I think he just has never gotten the opportunity that he's needed to flourish at the NHL level, right? He just hasn't been developed properly, whether that's the Jets problem or the player's problem, because he's had to deal with a lot of injuries, right? Like, who's to say at this point? It's been a bad mix, right? So maybe it is an option that they look at, maybe moving off of him. What I think a lot of this is, and the fact that there's a lot of moving parts right now. Hanola's playing on power play 2, taking reps there. Guys are in and out of the lineup. They're supposed to get a couple guys back. And like Mike McIntyre said, it's a crowded blue line. It is a crowded blue line right now, but I feel like they're just trying a bunch of stuff right now because the deadline's coming up. They want to see exactly what they have in everyone, so then they can put a game plan together. Okay, we're going to go trade for a defenseman. We need a left shot defenseman that does this for us. We need this. We need to add this to our lineup, and we're going to move these pieces out. So I think that's exactly what they're looking at right now. They're evaluating their blue line. I believe that's what it is. They're trying a bunch of different things, and ever since Scott Arniel, like you mentioned earlier in the episode, has figured out that he can actually move people around in the lineup, is having a field day with it. So I think that's what they're doing. I think they're really evaluating where they are as a team as we move towards the trade deadline, because they know where they are with this set group of players. They're a great team in the regular season, but I think they want to take a step towards being a dominant playoff team. They're probably a move or 2 away from doing that. So they want to see exactly who should be out, who should be in the lineup. And I think that's what they're doing right now. They're just playing with things.
Yeah, let us know below what your thoughts are. A lot of things going on. We're going to keep you up to date with all the latest Jets news as they continue to be one of the best teams in the NHL. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.